I love the portability of a laptop, but when I get home it'd really be nice to just plug it in and game, which is why we're pretty excited about this box that can turn your low-spec laptop into a gaming beast. Okay, so you bought a decent laptop. It's not great, and it's not designed for gaming. You use it for stuff. When I say stuff, I mean everything. You carry it around, you write on it, you draw on it, you do whatever. You use it for work, you use it to watch stuff, you use it for everything that people use laptops for. But it's certainly no beefy laptop at all. Wouldn't it be cool if something just came along that you could simply plug into and suddenly your laptop is comparable to a gaming PC? So what we're going to discuss here is Intel's Thunderbolt 3. Now, up until now, Thunderbolt has kind of been associated with Apple because Apple and Intel both co-developed it. And while Apple isn't completely out of the picture, Intel is sort of taking the reins of Thunderbolt for 3. Thunderbolt 3 smartly doesn't use the DisplayPort connector that the two previous Thunderbolts have. Thunderbolt 3 moves on to the new USB Type-C connector, which by the way, everyone is excited about because it's awesome. USB-C can simultaneously charge a device, output to a 4K display, and send tons of data over the cable. And that's pretty impressive, but Thunderbolt 3 is a supercharged version of that. It essentially has double the bandwidth. And when I say double the bandwidth, I mean double the bandwidth of any other cable. You can power two 4K displays simultaneously with one of these, while using it for other purposes, such as sending data and charging your computer. On top of that, it's obviously compatible with the Thunderbolt protocol, the USB protocol, the DisplayPort protocol, and the PCI Express protocol. You can do just about anything you can think of with the USB-C connector, and you can do it twice as fast or twice as much with the Thunderbolt 3 connector. And that's awesome. But that's not even the extent of what we're talking about today. What we're talking about are the hubs that are in development. We're going to start seeing these. I don't know exactly when these are coming out, as like I said, they're in development, but this is such an exciting thing. Now, there are more than a few companies creating them, so I'm not going to reference any specific model, but what's so cool about these hubs are you'll plug it into your laptop, and from the hub, you can plug in your monitors, your storage devices, and now this is the coolest part, a nice, big, external graphics card dock. And do you know what that means? It means your laptop can start using whatever massive, expensive, crazy graphics card that you can afford without some kind of weird half-assed rig that you create yourself. I'm not here to tell you that it's impossible to plug in a graphics card into your laptop today. Where there's a will, there is a way. But what we're excited about is the idea of doing it without thinking at all. Now, it's important to note that all of the images you're seeing are not consumer products, and they're also not the only ones in development, like I said. But can you imagine getting home and plugging in just a little USB thing and going, oh, now I can play everything with my incredibly expensive graphics card that makes everything look perfect? And even these in development models are pushing respectable frame rates. They were intentionally showing them with a laptop not very high spec at all, getting 45 frames per second on the Uni-Engine Heaven Benchmark 4.0, which is pretty damn good. And that's definitely in the area where it stops being such a problem. Companies like Alienware and MSI have created similar devices. However, they're typically for their gaming laptops and act as a booster rather than a full-blown GPU. They're specific devices made for improving the performance of their gaming laptops. They also use the PCIe slot on the laptop, which again is not as versatile or powerful as the new Thunderbolt 3 or even simply the standard USB-C connector. MSI is working on one of these Thunderbolt graphics card extenders, and you can see that they're not just working on making it into a great piece of technology that extends functionality, they also want your desk to look really cool too. Now, these devices are primarily for Windows gamers who have laptops, but there's also smaller scale projects intending to help people that have Macs enjoy some of the gaming functionality that Windows gamers have. A small company called Bullbox specifically is making the MacBook edition of this idea. I don't know your opinion on Mac. You might like it, you might not. You might intentionally use one, or you might be stuck with one. I don't know. They're actually running a Kickstarter now if you want to go check that out. Before these really cool developments, you really only had the option of adding some pretty, well, low demand devices. Like you could add a graphics card that added an HDMI port so you could output to your TV, not your 4K TV, your 1080p TV. But it never really enhanced the graphics. It never really gave you a GPU, anything that you could really do anything with. And now that's changing big time. Thunderbolt 3 is going to be such a huge thing for video games. And not just talking about what we've covered today. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more that we see, because frankly, it's possibly one of the most flexible technologies ever created. So if you basically game at home, because who doesn't, your gaming laptop eats through your battery like nothing else, but you're maybe getting kind of sick of the gaming laptop, because maybe you want to take your laptop around and either work on it or do other things in other places with it that aren't gaming. Since with a gaming laptop, you are essentially stuck somewhere to game, why not just add those components to your existing laptop and have the portability for when you need it? As somebody who actually does need that kind of functionality, I'm very excited about this. If you are as well, please do us a favor and leave a comment. Tell us what things you might be excited for in this type of technology, if you think it's necessary even, or if you just want to say PC Master Race 4 or 5 times in a comment. In any case, leave us one. Also, don't forget to click the like button. It really helps us a lot, and we really do appreciate it. If you're new to gameranx, make sure you subscribe. It's the absolute best way to get our daily videos first. Now that we've gotten through all that, we just really want to thank you for checking out our videos, especially this one, and say we will see you next time at gameranx.